Where are you? Hello? You in the dark again?
Yeah.
Well, can you put the light on? Right, I just want to see if I can get Nick on because the Pope joined. Sorry, the Pope. I thought it said the Pope joined. I was going to say, what? Hold on a minute. I just want to see if I can get. Oh, hello. I just want to see if I can get why Nick can't get on. Right.
Hang on a minute.
Pardon? Right.
Hang on.
I've invited you again because she's on. She's on, and you're still going around in circles, Nick. So I don't know what's going on. Because she's on, but you can't.
I'm on.
What?
I'm on.
I know, but Nick can't get on, which is getting a bit frustrating. Right, so let's try again. Come on, Instagram. Let him on, for Christ's sake.
None of you lot are having any more food. Anyway, did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
I did, thank you. Yes, I'm just... Oh, Nick. Are you around tomorrow, Nick? At about 8 o'clock. We can try again. It might just be the signal. Sorry,
what?
Nick. How many cats you got now?
Hey?
I really wanted Nick to come on, but it won't let him come on. This is what happened to Pixie.
Say hello, Sooty. Sooty, say
get
hello.
One on. You get one on, you can't get the other on.
Sooty.
Oh, that annoys me. Let me see. Right. So I've accepted it, Nick. Marcus. Yeah. I can hear and see both of you clearly. Yeah, I think it's Nick. He's got problems with his signal.
What? Say hello.
Yeah. Shall we, if you're available tomorrow, Nick, do you want to come on tomorrow? Because it's just not letting you on. And I'm accepting it, but it just will not, it won't allow, excuse me, won't allow you to come on.
Your feet are cold.
Right. I'm just going to go off and come back on.
Okay.
All right. And then you can join, you send a request as well. All right.
All right.
Because it's just not letting Nick on and I'm getting frustrated now. Right. Nick, it's not letting you on. Are you available tomorrow at 8 o'clock? We'll try again. It must just be a signal.
Yeah, or the fact that we've got shit weather. Guess what?
What?
I became a great auntie on Friday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh.
Scarlet Ivy.
Oh, that's lovely. Wild Golden, would you like to come on? Everybody's joining, right? I don't know if it's because I was out and proud and out and proud in the south of France, but you know.
You had a whale of a time, didn't you? You had a whale of a time, didn't you?
Well, when I flew out, my plane was late. It was an hour late. And then it was quite entertaining on the flight. And, oh, you want to join? Send a request. Right, hold on. I'm going to have to take Nick off because just bear with me a minute because, oh, right. Nick, shall we try again tomorrow then at 8 o'clock? Because you're just spinning around like Kylie Minogue and I can't have it.
You spin me right round.
Kylie Minogue.
Like a record, baby, right.
Kylie Minogue. I'm spinning around.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Nick. I think it's just your signal because other people can come on and it's just not letting you on for some reason. Hello, Resonate 7312. So I will catch up with you tomorrow, Nick. We'll try again tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Because it's just not. Hello. It's just not. It's just not letting. Okay, you send a request then, Wild Golden. Sorry, Nick. I will catch up with you tomorrow. Right. Who we got here? Let's see. Now this is Wild Golden. They've not been on before. Hopefully. Hello.
Hello. Oh, I see.
Nice to meet you.
3 people.
Yeah, I've got Nick up the top here who's still spinning around. So he needs to he needs to go because he's just going to spin around all night. And I can't have that. Let me see if I can just sort this out because.
Yes. How am I doing? Am I doing okay?
Yes.
All right.
You're going a bit fuzzy, but you're all right. How are you? It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Georgina. Nice to meet you, Nick.
Well, Nick's spinning around. So, but you got Vic down the bottom.
No, I'm up in the right-hand corner.
Down there. Tell us about yourself. Now, how do I say it? Wild
Goldine.
Wild Golden. Tell us all about yourself.
Yeah, so it's a Pokemon reference. See, because I love all my anime and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the age of 17 in 2005, yesterday was my birthday, actually. So
Hello,
I'm 36 now. Yeah.
Hey! Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, and that was back when it was DSM-4-TR. That was quite a long time ago, almost 19 years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then 2013 came, and there's DSM-5. So, 8 years after my diagnosis, I got my doctor of pharmacy degree.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a big it's a big deal because being autistic and and going through a rigorous program, people will say, oh, you can't make it and all that. Well, I proved them wrong, and I want I do a lot of this advocacy simply because I want to make sure people who are neurodivergent, who are on the spectrum, if there's a dream you have, you go for it, and you don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If someone's there to support you, go for it. If someone doesn't want you to support you, you just stay away from all that toxicity.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
follow your dreams, and I'm happy being a pharmacist.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I think I said to you before that I'm waiting for the assessment myself.
Yeah, you told us.
For autism ADHD. So I might get an assessment in like 20 years or whatever. The waiting list is huge. You know, but so yeah, it's see, I like art. I do like art. That's kind of my, and music. Yeah, that's why I have. That's why I have music on all my posts, because I like it. I can't help it.
Into the sciences, the math, the chemistry, the medications, the long names. It's fascinating. All right. I love medications. I love the healthcare stuff, the biology, like how everything just meshes together and connects together.
Yeah.
And I'm a train buff as well. I'm from New York, so I don't know where you are. I know you're across the pond. I don't know how
we're
far
in the UK.
Yeah, I don't know if you're in London or whatnot, but
quite near London. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm right next to the JFK, the airport. So we're by the subway. Wow. Yeah. So I love trains. JFK Heathrow and JFK. It's very common. There's so many flights that go between those two. So yeah, and we're 5 hours behind. Also, it is 2:28. You're at 7, I think.
I think so. I mean, I love flying. I love the takeoff, and I like the landing of it. I just find it absolutely fascinating. I don't like the airport itself. The airport is like a bit of a nightmare for me because there's so many people, and but once I'm on the plane, I love it. I love that takeoff, and and that landing there is just amazing.
I used to be afraid of flying, and the reason being is because when I was 1 year old, I saw some kind of a plane got hijacked, and I was like,
"Oh wow!"
Yeah, when I was very young, I saw on TV, on the news, someone hijacked the plane and crashed. I was so scared.
Yeah.
Security has gotten tight ever since 9/11, and I've seen 9/11 because 9/11 was basically my backyard.
Oh wow!
That's a bit too close to home for me.
Yeah, that's my house. If you're in JFK before 9/11, you would see the.
Oh, it's just, but yeah, it's just awful, isn't it? It's awful.
So I mean, it's been years, so things have gotten. We've always learned, throughout the years, and we kept improving and all that. So flying is safer than driving, for example. That's a culture in the United States. There should be more trains, just like Europe, because there's trains all over. It's actually more affordable to take a train. But in the Northeast in the U.S., where it's kind of similar to how Europe is, but only between Boston and D.C. But anyway, I don't want to get too crazy with the trains. I go all day with those kinds of things.
I mean, I think there's someone else on here. He loves planes, so he will be, he'll be watching them come in and all the rest of it. That's his thing. But yeah, I do like flying. I like helicopters as well. Last year I was buzzing around in one for.
I'd love to do a helicopter ride at night.
It wasn't at night. It was during the day. I done it, and then I couldn't make my mind up whether I liked it or not. So I went back a week later and done it again. But I just like that freedom of just you're just free when you're flying, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Have you flown, Vic?
Wow.
No, I've got a passport, but I've never flown.
You should try it. It's amazing. Yeah.
You have to plan ahead though. So my parents tell me if you're going to go international, 3 hours. You have to arrive at the security gate 3 hours prior, and if it's domestic, it's 2 hours prior. Okay, and you can check in your phone now. Okay, before I had to check in with a person or some kind of a computer. Now I just do it on my phone the day before, and then I just go straight to the security line.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I only took on a locker bag, you know, so I only had to be like an hour before at security, and I find that a bit quite stressful because you have to put everything into like a box, and so I put my passport in there and my ticket, and when I got to the other end, I couldn't find my ticket, and I had all the security running around looking for my ticket. I was like, oh my gosh, where's my ticket? Where's my ticket? I have my passport. I couldn't find my ticket. And then I suddenly see this lady holding up my ticket. I went, that's mine.
All right.
I was like, thank you.
Yeah, my advice, always print your ticket and keep it on your phone. And what I do is I always have 3 battery packs, you know, those power bricks, whatever you call it. Because nowadays phone batteries are not the best now. So always.
Well, I mean, yeah, I did print it out and I put it in with my passport in the box, in the tray. And yeah, when I got to the other end, my passport was there, but my ticket weren't. I was like, oh, I had everybody running around looking for my ticket. And then this woman, this other security woman, was holding up. I was like, yeah, that's mine. Come on. I've got to go. I've got to go. But yeah, it must have got stuck to the side of the box. And I just didn't see it. And so, yeah, when she was holding up, I was like, that's mine. So,
Really?
but I do find that part
You're going to say
very
hello?
stressful. Very stressful when you're going through security. It's so,
of course,
it's so quick. You know, it's just so quick, isn't it? You know, you got to take your coat off, you've got everything out of your pocket. You've got
to it.
And it's quite intense when you go through security because it's quite. I feel quite pressured when I'm going through there, and you've got to take everything off, and you know.
So on the line, what I do is before you get into those conveyor belts or whatever those, you put. I always have a bag with me, a book bag, and I put everything in there: your belts, your jewelry, everything, and all. And make sure everything's empty. You just put it in there. You just go through, do your arms like this, you know, when they go woo, and then you're done. We're New Yorkers. We're very patient. So keep going.
Well, I mean, coming back, because I'd gone to this nightclub and I had so much glitter on me, I couldn't get it all off. And I thought, well, I hope that don't set off the security, you know, when you walk through. Because I don't know what I'm going to do because I couldn't get all this glitter off. I thought, oh my God, don't let that security thing go off because otherwise I'll be black. I'm sparkling everywhere. But yeah, it is quite, yeah, I find it quite intense going through the airport. But yeah. So what other interests do you have, Wild Golden?
Anime. I
Pay attention,
anime. Yeah, I love anime and I cosplay. So I'm on Instagram, so you'll see all my cosplays. And then, as I said, I love trains. I also learn about mental health as well. And what else? It's a lot. Someone calls me the jack of all trades.
Ah.
Yes. And cosplay saved my life. You know, I dress up as certain of the characters over here.
Yeah.
And let me see if I have one. Oh, there's one here. It's pretty small. But,
yeah, I can't really see it, but
so it saved my life because, you know, it helps me cope with stress because when we get stressed, we deal with the stimuli. It's a lot. It's very, very intense. And a lot of people don't see that, but you feel it inside. It's like having 10 TVs with the volumes maxed out. All you hear is static and you see static.
Yeah.
You just if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do well with. I don't know about you, Vic. I know you're not like
autistic.
If I'm in a room full of people and everybody's talking, I can't handle that.
No, I can't.
I have friends who cannot handle that.
It just, I can't. I can for a little bit, and then I have to leave the room because I just find it, one, I can't process what everybody's saying, and two, it's very overwhelming. But with music,
and you get anxious. Yeah.
Yes, but with music, I can, like, I was at a nightclub, and even though there was a lot of people around, I was hyper focused on that music. So I wasn't listening to the people, I was listening to the music, and because I love music, I was able to like hyper focus on that rather than all the people that were in there. And there was a lot of people in there, but you couldn't hear them anyway. So the music was like, I was able to hyper focus on that. But yeah, if I'm in a room full of people and they're all talking, it just doesn't. I can't. I really struggle with that. I struggle with it.
I was like that Boxing Day evening, late afternoon, early evening.
Try the New York City subway. In the New York City subway, it's crowded every single day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
So we're in post pandemic. There's still COVID's rising here, but still, it's crowded every single day, even on the weekends. The train. Well, I fix my legs too, but it's a lot. For somehow I'm able to handle the crowds. I cannot handle the lines though. That's another story. I get when I'm in the line and the line is moving slower, not moving at all. The other part is I'm very sensitive to sounds. It's not so much with consistency, but if it's something that surprised me, I go crazy. I could get a meltdown or a panic attack. If it's too loud, for example, like fireworks, I hate fireworks, I hate thunderstorms, drives me nuts. And I start crying and all that. It just drives me nuts. So it goes to show you that it's a spectrum, and some people can have sensitivities to some people can have no sensitivities at all. Some people can have like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So that's why I put that out there that as you said in your other lives, if you met one person with autism, you only met one person with autism.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I agree with you. Standing in a line,
I get irritated.
Oh yeah.
If I'm
like
in the line for too long, I get irritated.
Yeah, like when you're going back to go back to the airport thing, and you're waiting in the line for security, and you've got all these people, the helpers coming up to you, and you're like, I'm English, like speaking, because I was going to France, can you speak English? And then someone else comes up to you, and it's like, you're trying to concentrate on the line, and then you've got all these people coming up to you, and it's like, just get me to there, even though that's quite stressful. Once I'm through that bit, I know that I'm all right. It's just waiting, and then obviously getting into that
the fear
security
of the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown. That's one component of it, and because you want something that we all want things familiar. I have a friend who's gone through that, where I brought him to a place he's never been to before, but I've been there since 2018. So I gave him a tour, and I told him to wait a bit because I had to go to a hotel that's about a couple of miles. Oh, you use kilometers, so we're gonna say more than 3 kilometers. All right, don't worry, I can convert. It's okay. I'm good with the math here. And he would call me, and then he was freaking out, and it was like, "Why are you freaking out?" Because he was hangry, HANGRY, and I told him, "There's food over there. You can go there while I wait. I'm trying my best here. Just wait, relax." Because it's something I've been to before, he gets so scared, and I said, "Everything will be okay. We're on the spectrum. I got you. All that."
Yeah.
That's why my plan is important. Also.
Yeah. What other things do you struggle with while going? Do you work? Oh yeah, you're a pharmacist. But how do you get on with like if there's a lot of people coming into where you work? How do you deal with that without being overwhelmed?
A lot of the stuff is really breathing. Like breathe. Sometimes I have to stop what I'm doing, right? And there are other times where I'm in the moment, and sometimes you don't want to be in the moment because it could lead to mistakes. And promise I hate making mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes are not.
Yeah.
Okay, so and another part. There'll be times where I'll just go to the bathroom. I just need to just say, hey, stop right there, and it's like, oh, yeah. So yeah, last year I got meltdown. And,
sorry, guys, I've got to go.
Okay, Vic. All right, nice to see you.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year
Speak
to
to you all
you.
soon.
I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. Enjoy your cats. She's got 8 cats.
Yes, I can only speak for myself, but breathing helps a lot. Breathing, the self-talk, well, inside, not really physically out, but a lot of it is really breathing meditation. Just trying to for a few minutes, and then just try to get yourself together. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do the breathing technique, don't they? And find it quite helpful.
Yeah. Close your eyes, breathe slow, like breathe in 10 seconds, inhale for 10 seconds, but slowly. If you want to inhale more than 10 seconds, you can do so, but count slowly, close your eyes, but find a room that's quiet. And then after that, exhale for at least another 10 seconds, and just while keeping your eyes closed. And you can do as much as you can until you become grounded.
Yeah.
That took years to really get down. I've improved ever since the diagnosis back in 2005, and I've been helping other people who are in similar situations than I am to get to.
That's amazing.
To take control rather than have all the stresses, and then you take control.
I got while I wait for my assessment, I was sent an app, and it's really helpful. Like, so it's on my phone, and it has like stimming things on it, and hyper focus on certain patterns and stuff like that, just to calm you down. And it's quite helpful, actually. It's quite a good tool to have. And I didn't even know these were available, but you're just looking at your phone and you're looking at all these patterns and stuff, but it's so calming that it's quite clever, really, how this was invented. And then you can add your own stims as well, and other hyperfocus things, and you can ask questions on it as well. So they'll answer you straight away, which is because I had weeks ago, I kind of got to a burnout stage and ended up in bed for a few weeks. I just could not do anything else. I just felt so ill. And it's so bizarre because you get so overwhelmed.
Yes.
And then suddenly, bang, you've come crashing down, and you don't even realise that this is happening. And then suddenly you're in that situation, and it's like, oh, hold on a minute, and you want to get up, and it's kind of like, no, you're staying there. So
just black out, and then I wake up, I'm on the floor, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's very I mean, because I'm waiting for the assessment to go through these experiences, it's quite interesting. I mean, I feel a lot better now since I've been away. I've got a kind of a new lease of life. I feel so much better with myself. But I just seem to be crashing and crashing, and I couldn't stop it. And so going away has actually, it's benefited me a lot, because I feel quite refreshed by doing that, even though it's stressful, sort of, going through all the process of getting there. The actual holiday itself was very, very therapeutic, actually. So I do feel a lot better now than I did a few weeks back, where my head was just, I don't know, everything I was doing was just so overwhelming that I just had to stay in bed, and that's really, it's so strange when you're, when you can't explain what that is, because you haven't been diagnosed yet.
Right.
So you go through these emotions, and you're not really sure, kind of what's going on. That's when they sent me the app to just hyper focus a bit on something.
Are you able to type the app? I couldn't hear you. It's
Sorry.
What was the app? Are you able to type the app so the viewers can see and then?
It's, well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed.
Oh,
I'm not sure if I'm allowed, but I can let you know after. But
all right.
yeah, but it's very, very good actually. Yeah, and because you can add your own stims and stuff, so you can have as many as you like, and it's whatever works. I don't know if it's just for UK, this app. I'm not sure, but it does tend to help me. So yeah, but then I think probably there's lots of sort of apps you could get on your phone for neurodivergence, to help with like stimming and things like that. But yeah, it works for me, so that's quite
so
good.
So there'll be so I think a few years ago, I think it was before COVID. So when I had these meltdowns, I actually devised something for myself because I do not like meltdowns. I do not like anxiety or panic attacks. So whenever I feel something, I had a level. So I had a red is when I'm in a meltdown, and then above that there's a pink. That's like I get aggressively a meltdown.
Yeah.
And below the red is an orange. So orange level, I call it a warning. Between the warning and the red zone, I call it the threshold. So the goal is for the line not to hit the threshold. Okay, you want to go below it, because if it hits a threshold, you get a meltdown.
Yeah.
Then there's a yellow below the orange, and it's called a watch. So it depends on severity of how close you are to getting a meltdown. And then there's a green level where it's stable. That's what we all want to be. And then there's blue that's complacent. We'll ignore that one. You don't want to be complacent. You want to have a little bit of awareness. So when I reach at when I'm at stable, everything's okay. When I reach to yellow, so a watch, for example, that means it's like, okay, I have to watch where I'm going. So if I feel, whether it's my heart rate going up or my chest tightening or whatnot, what I'll do is, okay, gotta stop what I'm doing. Let's bend the curve, so to speak. Instead of going up, just bring that down, so you bring it away from the threshold. There'll be times where it will go so fast, it'll get into the orange, and then you have to take even more drastic steps.
Yeah.
And since I implemented it, I have reduced the meltdowns greatly by as much, maybe as 80+%, and that's being conservative.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
So
does anyone else in your family have autism, or I mean, you don't have to answer.
From what I know, I'm the only one. So I have a lot of friends who were autistic, and they show different signs of it. And
yeah,
as we said earlier, it is a spectrum, and they exhibit certain kinds. There'll be some who are very smart at something, and then there'll be other ones where they struggle with it. So some of them struggle with math. I'm really good with math. Some of them, like you, they love art and music, but the sciences, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've got autism and ADHD in my family. So, two different people. So, yes. So, I'm pretty much expecting to be diagnosed with one of them. I don't know if it's both or just one of them. I don't know, but yeah.
Whether you get a diagnosis or not, know that you are loved and you're a human first. That's what one of the doctors told me, actually. be human first, because your basic needs are important for survival, are just as important as everybody else.
Yeah.
Although we differently and whatnot, the most important thing is that you need to be loved. You need to be taken care of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't emphasize that enough. All right.
Yeah.
And number two, whether you get a diagnosis or not, keep advocating. Okay. Keep advocating, because when we keep advocating, not only we can build understanding, we can also empower those who are affected by the diagnosis. We can also empower people who know other people who are diagnosed. So this as a teamwork. That's why when I have a diagnosis, I said, you know what? There's something bigger than me. I'm gonna do something to the best of my abilities to say, you know what? I can do this. I have full confidence that everybody else can do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of it is, we learn about triggers and coping mechanisms and stuff. And, it's, I mean, it is hard. It is hard to sort of know what it is that you can cope with, what sets you off, how you're going to deal with it. I mean, I know a lot of autistic people anyway. And, yeah. So it is kind of, it's a learning thing, because every day you're going to come up against something.
Correct.
It may trigger you, it may not, mightn't it?
Yes.
And it is how you react to the situation, or
that's exactly.
And if you react in a negative way, you know better next time. It's kind of like you learn from that. Okay, that didn't work for me. Try something else. So it's constantly learning, isn't it, about what works for you, to keep you calm.
Correct.
Yeah.
And some people find that overwhelming. Actually, I have friends who are autistic who find it overwhelming. Why do I have to keep learning this and that? And try to change it in a way where it's just, it's not about being pressured to learn. It's about going on your own pace, right? Because if you don't go in your own pace, you're not going to make progress, whether it's fast or slow. But if you go in your own pace, before you know it, it's like, wow, look how much I've grown for the past few months or past few years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is psychological, as you already know, and it's about believing in yourself, trusting in yourself, and also choosing your friends as well. So it's both, and it seems like a lot, but I always tell people, one step at a time. That's what I did in pharmacy school. Pharmacy school was not easy. There was not enough hours in the day. But one step at a time, have a very strong support system, and also always having this attitude is, always put your foot in front of the other and repeat. Keep going. You don't have to do it too fast. You just have to be consistent. And when you do fall back, put one foot over the other, like this. Keep going.
Yeah.
And you will get there. And if you have the mindset where I will get there, you will get there. Just say to yourself, it's going to be a when, and trust the process. Because in my field, in order to get to where I need to go, it's a process. Is it hard? Yeah. But is it worth it? You sure damn it is.
Exactly. So, are you just autistic? Not just, but are you? Do you have ADHD as well?
No,
or?
I'm only autistic. Yeah. I was
because I mean, a lot of some people have they have autism and ADHD. I
have a friend who has OCD.
I'm thinking I've got both. I'm just greedy.
I was first diagnosed with Asperger's, and I met Dr. Atwood that same year.
Yeah.
Who was seeing, and he actually came to New York City in 2005, and I recorded. I spoke to him about it, and he was telling me. To summarize, he was telling me, why are you overworking? Because I was a stress junkie. I was a straight A student in high school. I was stressed out. I was overwhelmed by everything. So he told me, you can't put that burden to yourself. You can't be too uptight about it because it's not good for you. But that goes for everybody. So I learned that from him. And well, I graduated number 8 in high school with honors.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. Yeah. But it's true, isn't it? It is, go at your own pace, without overwhelming yourself, and then
correct.
Obviously having that burnout stage, which is not which is not pleasant for anybody. But it's very interesting how you learn to cope with certain things. I mean, going away for me, yes, there was that huge kind of stress. Before I was going, it was like, come on, George, come on, you got to go and get the plane. You got to get to the airport. And then I walked in the airport. It was like thousands of people. And I thought, come on, just do it, just get through there. And yes, and then I had to sit there with like thousands of people because my flight was like an hour late or whatever. And I thought, I don't want to be sitting here. So when I found somewhere a bit more quiet, well, not quieter, but just away from people a bit, because it was too overwhelming for me to sit there with all those people. And then, as soon as I got on that plane, I was absolutely fine. It was just, and it actually gave me a lot more confidence, to have done that, even though I've flown several times, but, I haven't flown for years. And so being in that, waiting for that assessment and stuff. So I'm in like a different thinking stage there, because obviously last time I flew, I didn't know anything about this neurodivergence thing. Suddenly I'm possibly neurodivergent, and I'm just about to get to the airport, and it's kind of like, right, okay. But it is like, take small steps, because I could feel myself getting overwhelmed, and then I thought, no, take yourself out of that situation there. Go and sit somewhere where it's not so, where you're not surrounded by loads of people. So you find your strategies.
That's correct. You find
once you're in that situation, you have to, you find these coping strategies.
Correct.
So
also, one more thing: a small win, celebrate it. I don't care what kind of, just say, yay!
Yeah, exactly. Because when I was sitting in that nightclub, I was having a ball, because it was when I was dragged up on stage. This man, he pulled me up on stage. So I was on stage, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like, then I was a bit overwhelmed, because I thought, oh, I've got to go to dance now. I was actually going the wrong way, and then I come back again. but because the music was so loud, it was kind of like that took over the whole thing for me, because I'm not worrying about how many people are in there. It was because this music was so loud, and it was like, I like that, and so that took the stress away, until I got pulled on the stage, of course. I mean, I was going to the stage anyway, but this man put his hand out and pulled me up, and I was like, oh my god, I'm up. So I just had to go with it. But so I coped in lots of ways while I was away. I was quite surprised myself, actually. I even sort of down to wherever it was in a foreign country on my own, and it was really relaxing, really relaxing. I just had the best time, and so it was Yeah, it was.
Celebrate it.
It was good. Yeah, it was really. I felt so much better doing that, and then come back and just thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go back again. I'm going back again in July. But I'd be more kind of like focused on, not getting so stressed out and
Correct.
take myself away from certain things and
when you feel a certain way, what are the ways to just usually this is so I'll explain this one. So ask questions. Always ask questions to yourself. Ask questions about what's going on and all that, rather than just being, because when you're emotional, you will lose your mind.
Yeah.
When I'm emotional, I lose my mind. So I always say, you know what? Let me switch it to being objective. All right. Let's think, analytically think, what is going on. All right. Before you ask, of course, you say to yourself, I'm feeling this way. It's okay. Just say, it's natural to feel this way. Allow yourself to validate your feelings. If you don't validate, you feel basically just putting it in a pressure cooker, and then you're not releasing it. But when you release it, you feel a little bit lighter, and you're able to handle yourself. So you ask yourself, what is causing this? How did this end up? And then when you spot the issue, you ask yourself, what's the solution? What can I do? So back to the airport thing. So I get stressed out, and the flight was delayed for another 2 hours. I was so upset. So what I did was I went on my phone, and I was planning for so I do so when you go to my Instagram, I do rail reports for New York City. I do that for myself first, and then I post it for everyone to get informed, because the subways in New York and the commuter rails, they tend to get unpredictable. So I do that. So that's number one. Number two, of course, there's the listening to music, as you've done as well. And then number three, I always have something to do. So I have Vietnamese homework, all that. I have studying to do. There's also maybe my anime, for if there's internet service, I'll watch it. So to help me calm down.
Yeah.
So it's a process. Okay, you're not going to get all the options right away. A lot of it is with self-reflecting. If you reflect after every situation you've gone through, what you learned, what went wrong, what went right, over time, you become not only much better, you become more informed, you become smarter in a way, and you become more resilient. And that's the goal: being resilient and trying to withstand whatever anything throws at you. And again, it's a process. So I try to tell everyone, it's go at your own speed. You'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. But it is interesting how when you go into excuse me, I did come back with a bit of a cough and a cold. I think that's a plane.
I think it's in New York also.
Yeah,
we're dealing with viruses.
But isn't it interesting that we come up against these situations, or even people that we meet, and we find what works best for us to cope in that situation at that given time. I know a lot of people, obviously, not even the ones that aren't neurodivergent, that we all get into situations that might be a bit uncomfortable or whatever, and it's amazing how your brain works, because if something's uncomfortable excuse me, if something's uncomfortable, that you've got to go and find a way to cope with that, to find a strategy that's going to work for you. Correct. Yeah.
Not everyone's going to know. You're not going to know everything. Right? No. So when there's something that's unfamiliar or whatnot, you switch into being objective and say, all right, let's ignore the noises and all the emotions. Let's be Sherlock Holmes, and let's ask questions. Let's look for answers, and given the information we have, what's the next steps in trying to do this?
Yeah.
All right. And if people want to, they can always write it down.
Yeah.
Anything, if they're able to write it down, I forget to write it down. If they're able to write it down, that's even better, because that's documentation. You can always change or pivot when needed.
Yeah. I mean, meeting people is another thing for me. Like, not just in public places, but like meeting people in general. You know, I had to meet quite a few people when I was away, and I mean, they were lovely. They're all lovely, but I had to take myself out of that situation because there was several people, and because I can't process what everybody's talking. You know, everybody's talking at once, so you know, I had to take myself out of that situation several times, which was good, you know, because I knew that I had to do that to keep myself calm. You know, I had to take myself out of that situation for a few minutes and then return to it, and I was fine, and that worked for me. You know, that worked for me. So I found something that you know, a good strategy for me in a group setting. So yeah, that was interesting. Because I thought, well, yeah,
it's all uphill. It's all uphill from there. You're going to get better and better and better.
Yeah. It just, I was actually, you know, when I got to France, I was like, yes, I've done it. Got there in one piece. But yeah, it was interesting how I was a bit apprehensive about meeting all these people, and even though they were lovely, yeah, just to take myself out of that for a few minutes and then come back, and it was very, very calming, because I knew that I had to do that. Otherwise, I'd got so overwhelmed that I'd just be like all over the place. So yeah, just for a few minutes, take yourself out, then rejoin. You know, and if you have to go back out again, go back out again. You know, because I did it several times, but it worked for me. And then I was able to go out for the evening, like bringing the new year. Even though there was like hundreds of people, you know, again, it was the music that I was focused on, not the people. So it is strategies. It really is strategy, and it's so clever. It's so clever. How your brain works is so clever, honestly. How we can just hyper focus on something and not worry about everything else that's going on around us, you know?
Yeah.
So
the fireworks part, hardest part for me. I can't stand fireworks. It just blows my ears and blows my eyes out.
I like them, but more at a distance than standing quite near to them. I like them in the distance.
Yeah. I hear the boom.
Yeah.
That's why I have those phones.
Yeah. And I find, you know, if I feel overwhelmed, whatever, I just put my headphones in and listen to some music, because that is a thing that I've started to do, and it's actually kept me nice and sort of calm, rather than listening to people talking. You know, I can just plug in and switch them off, and like just be listening, hyper focus on that particular thing, that you know, that music or whatever's on my phone at the time. And I just find, I'm learning about a lot of coping mechanisms, and it is really interesting. It's interesting what, you know, I mean, life is a challenge anyway, you know, but to come up against these different challenges and be able to sort of find your own way of coping with it, it's really interesting. really interesting, you know, and it's amazing how it works. Not everything, but you know, it just yeah, you just know. So like when I go back to the airport, I will know not to sit there with all these people, you know, go and find somewhere a bit quieter and you know, and try not get, maybe listen to my headphones while I'm in the queue or something, because you know, there's just too much going on. Then obviously you've got people coming up to you, and that makes it even more stressful. So hyper focus on on what you're, you know, what you're listening to, rather than everything that's going on around you, you know.
Right.
And that for me is key, is to hyper focus on something, not what's going on around me.
What I do in airports also is that maybe a few days prior, I will go through all the information, go through the itinerary, and I go through all that, because I'm very detail oriented. So I'll see, okay, in case something happens, there's this place, maybe there's a bathroom, maybe there's a food place or whatnot. So 2 days prior, you not get all the information, but at least you get most of it. You know, the only thing you're not gonna get is the gate.
Yes.
The gate you're gonna board, but you'll find out maybe a day before, who knows. But also have this kind of preparation that maybe it could change, and who knows, that kind of thing. You know,
I mean, I waited for the gate to be announced. I think it was like 40 minutes, no, an hour before boarding. And I was sitting right at the other end, and I thought, oh my God, now I've got to walk all the way to there, because I didn't know what gate, because obviously you don't know what gate it is. And I've got to walk all the way down there, and I'm thinking, oh my God, all these people, they're like pushing, and you know, everybody's wanting to hurry up and get to the gate. And I'm like, but next time, yes, I'll put my headphones in and just just take a stroll.
Yeah, put your headphones, put your plan ahead, and also some airlines may have like an accommodation. So if you're able to, please, all right, and anything, so you know you don't lose yourself.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, but yeah. So I was proud that I got there and back in one piece, and had a good time. I feel better, but yeah, I think it's great when you can come on and talk to somebody, and you know, you find out what, you know, what works for you, what works for them, you know, and maybe something that you haven't tried that you do may work for me next time I'm in that environment, and that's good, because that means that we can, you know, we're constantly helping one another to be able to cope with these challenges, and having these strategies. So hello, resilient warrior. Yeah, so we're constantly helping each other, and finding the best way to be able to cope in certain situations, you know. So things that you've said to me, you know, I will take on board, and then like next time I go to the airport or whatever, I should do these things, because and see if it works, you know, see if it works for me. Like put my headphones in, because it's all too overwhelming standing in that queue, and people come up to you and coming up to you, you know, and you're like, oh, especially when they're talking a different language, and I'm like, I'm English. I'm English, talk to me in English. And they're like, okay. I'm like, right. You know, and I just think, yeah, because it was all right coming back, because the airport is smaller, and it's quiet when you're coming back. But at London, it's just major. It's just major. Honestly, it's so overwhelming, London. Oh dear. But I was like, oh no, come on, just get in there. Get in there, sort it out. But when they said it was a delay for an hour, I thought, no, because then you're like, well, you know, because you have these routines and stuff,
Yes.
you know, like when you get to the airport, and then you find that it's like an hour later, and you're like, no, what? It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for an hour, another hour? You know, and you start thinking all these things, and just like, oh, you know.
What if your plans are canceled? Oh my goodness, that's like the worst of the worst. It's like your routine is. I'm like, oh no, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, before I left, it said it's half an hour late. I thought, okay.
Okay.
Then I got another one saying it's 2 minutes late. And I thought, oh, that's right then, 2 minutes. And when I got to the airport, it said an hour late, and I was like, what? So it was kind of like, oh, my brain. But yeah. But it is funny how, but even at work, around a lot of people is not, it doesn't work for me. I'm better on a one-to-one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise I will get too overwhelmed, and is that ADH delicious kitchen? Hello. Yeah, otherwise I get too overwhelmed, and then I can't focus on what you know people are saying. But then they make allowances now, so that's quite good, really. So, but it is all about not getting overwhelmed about certain situations, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I hear two people talk at the same time, I do get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it's hard to ask yourself, you know, what are they saying or whatnot, because you have to actually separate and have them one person talk at a time.
Well, someone said to me who's got ADHD, they're waiting for the assessment for ADHD.
Right.
They said, and they've got several kids, and they said it's like having several different conversations at once, you know, in your ear.
Oof.
For someone with ADHD, possible ADHD, but they're 4 or 5 kids. So you've got, well, they're all talking at once, and it's like their brain can't cope with it, because obviously it's 5 different things going off there, and you know, that becomes a massive confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm just fixing the lights.
Oh.
I'm just
wondering.
Yeah. Sure you're
so it's like having all these different conversations at once, and it's like, no, can't do it. Because you just can't process it, can you? It's just, it's just too much. Yeah, and you can't make sense of it anyway, because there's 5 different conversations going on. It's like,
it doesn't make it any better.
no, and it's kind of very overwhelming for them, you know, and yeah, it's well, it's like being anywhere, isn't it? You know, if you're having more than one conversation, it's like all this noise. What? You know, you just can't hear what anyone is saying, because it's like this white noise type thing. You know, it's just a massive confusion. So yeah. That's very pretty on your wall.
Yeah, that's all the autographs from voice actors and actresses and all the anime stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe I can bring it closer to see one of my cosplays. Let's see. Oh, this one. So now you can see it. This is me. This is me.
Oh wow.
And this is an American actor from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
This is 28. Oh, this is 2018, almost 6 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Amazing.
I've met so many actors and actresses. I met a few Power Rangers here.
Oh wow. That's brilliant.
Last month I met one of the Black Rangers. He's a 2nd generation Black Ranger, and he's a voice actor.
Oh wow.
He has the same
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So where do you go to meet these people?
So you go to conventions, or you go to these events. So conventions, usually more Comic Cons, anime conventions. Cons are for short for conventions, and those are my respites. Those are the places where if I go there, and I go all over like the Northeast United States mainly. But since I'm in New York City, there's one at least every month. And they come in different sizes. There's a small one, there's a few small ones, and there are a few large ones. And they'll have actors and actors, and you meet them, you shake their hands, you take their selfies or pictures. You also hang out with other cosplayers and you take pictures. You also go to panels. Panels are like seminars. They can also come in as workshops as well. They'll have even game shows as well as under panels. I've done panels as well, and I've recorded it. It's on YouTube.
Wow.
It's the same, Wild Goldine as well on YouTube.
Yeah.
I've recorded panels. So it's, having a disability, and then trying to make something good out of it. What I wanted to do is pay it forward and do something good for the community to the best of my ability. Not just just being a pharmacist, but also using my doctorate as well with my healthcare experience and all, of course, the planning experience and the trains and all that.
Yeah.
And help people be informed and empower themselves using the facts and the information. And it helps me relieve a lot of stress just by helping other people, and you get a lot of thank yous, and people smile, and people get very excited, and they accomplish something because of something that I've contributed to help them. It means a lot, and I feel very humble.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. You're a very clever guy.
It's a crazy time. A lot of toxicity going on. A lot of people a lot of people have this kind of mindset, just like very individualistic and so on. And it's just there's a lot of selfishness and there's a lot going on, and it's overwhelming as well. Hate, it brings a lot. It just brings you down. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you don't hate, focus more on love, it becomes lighter, and then it's like a huge burden lifted off your shoulders. But it's, for a lot of people, it's very hard to get rid of the hate. Try to get rid of a lot of that. A lot of
I must admit,
yeah.
I mean, I've met a few toxic people on Instagram, and I have found it very difficult. You think you think they've got your back, and they haven't. They're just out for themselves, and it becomes a bit of a shock actually when you realise that actually they weren't there for you at all. It was just for themselves. So, and that is difficult. That's difficult, but we live and learn by it all.
That's the name of the game. We live and learn, we grow and improve.
Exactly. And then they'll be going on to the next person anyway. So, and the next person, and the next person. And I don't have to live. I don't have to live with that. I don't have to live with it, but they do. So that's how I have to see it. That the toxic nature will go on and on and on with other people and hurt other people, but it doesn't hurt me anymore. So once you let that go, then it's fine. Yeah,
I think that's a challenge for a lot of us in the neurodivergent community as well, especially for my friends actually. So he wasn't. So he tends to text a lot to one of his friends, and I think his friend ghosted him. I don't know if that's the term, but the friend doesn't respond.
Yeah, that happened to me.
And so he came to me for advice, and he asked me, why is he not responding? It's rude, and I told him, well, how do you know? Unless if you live with that person, because who knows, that person could be in the hospital. That person could be dealing with depression, that person could. There's so many different possibilities. I have another friend who's neurotypical. I have another one who's neurotypical. She was dealing with surgery and recovering in a hospital, and her phone line got cut off, and her battery died, and her charger wasn't working. So that it can happen, and then we found out that one of the friends, I think, spoke to another friend of his who said, I'm tired of the texting. I'm not going to respond to it. It's just I feel annoyed and all that. So I guess how the friendship ended, and he's dwelled on it for so many days, and I told him, there's going to be about 8 billion people in this world. Okay, not to minimize it, but there's always going to be good people out there. Number one, and number two, it's not your fault that that a friendship was ended. All right. Maybe something's going on their end. What you did was you reached out and you didn't get a response, and don't take it personally, because there are so many things to worry about other than just having someone not responding, and then you get upset about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's happened to me recently, and now I think, do you know what? I just can't. I can't be doing with it anymore. It's just. You're right. You don't know what's going on behind. You don't know what's going on. But me, I've come to the stage where I'm like, that's it, done.
Yeah. Just
because it's been going on for weeks, so it's done. It's done. So, and I don't appreciate being ghosted. So, and if you allow it, it will play havoc with your brain in the end. So it's better just to cut it off, let it go.
I've actually
find people on your own level that can relate to you, that have your back. Just find your people, because that wasn't my people. But we go through these things of meeting people, and we think that they're like genuine and blah, and they're not, and that's life. But eventually you'll find your people, you're comfortable with, that are honest with you, blah blah blah. Don't need no bullshit. And well, you don't need any bullshit, do you, from anybody? I just don't believe half of what I'm told now. And but eventually you'll find the people that are right for you.
That's correct.
So
yeah. And you'll get maybe more people, and but the premise is still the same.
Yeah.
Now, for me, when it comes to ghosting, I don't know why it doesn't affect me as much. In the beginning, it kind of does, but I guess maybe because of the way I approach it, because I always approach it in a scientific way, where I ask myself the questions and I ask what's going on, and I try to answer and try to solve it. But not everyone has that kind of approach.
No. Well, I mean, ghosting isn't if someone's doing it on purpose, it says more about their character than yours. That's not a pleasant person who's ghosting you whoever's ghosting you on purpose. It says more about them than it ever will do you. It shows what sort of person they are. So let them go, and let them carry on with their whatever they're doing. Because at the end of the day, you're the decent one, and obviously ghosting someone is not a nice thing to do, unless there is personal things going on, which But you don't do it. You don't do it unless, like I said, unless there's stuff going on. But if it goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks, then it's just bullshit. So you just let them go and get on with your life and move on to the next people. Everybody's happy. Life's too short.
So life is too short.
Yeah. Let them get on with it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been in this journey with this kind of advocacy? Because I know we just met, I think, last year.
Well, I started this with my niece because her son is autistic, and then she decided not to do it anymore. So I've been on here since November. Yeah, just over a year, I think it is. Yeah, just over a year. But when I first started this, it was purely because of my great nephew being autistic that we started this, and then somewhere along the line there, I ended up having a meltdown, and I ended up at the doctor's, and it was like, okay, you're going for the assessment. I was like, okay then. So now it's not because my nephew niece isn't on here anymore. I talk more about like me waiting for the assessment and talking to people that are diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and stuff, because I learn a lot about myself in talking to people that are diagnosed. And even when you're sent for the assessment and you get all this paperwork and that, and you're like, all these questions, it's like, oh yes, that applies to me. Yes, I do that. I do that. And you're like, and then you start realizing that, oh my God, a lot of that is kind of relevant to me. And then you start thinking, well, is that why I behave like that? Is that why I don't? Is that why I don't actually feel that I fit in that particular thing? Or never really had friends at school because I couldn't make those friends and keep them. There's so much stuff, and it's like when I look back, I think, yeah, and it makes sense. It starts to make sense, and because you could think that you were anything really, or that you just some kind of weirdo, because as a child you think, what's the matter with me? Am I strange? But as you get older and you look back and you think, well, maybe that's why I done that. I never paid attention in school. I couldn't process what they were saying to me. I was always looking out the window. I could never process what they were saying. And I ended up walking out. And but when I look back, I think, well, I quite like working on my own. I don't like working around a lot of people. I've been supervisor and all this, and it doesn't work for me because then I have to deal with these people, and then I see this pattern, and I think, okay, so I can't deal with all these people, or be in a position of authority, because then I've got to deal with these people, and I can't do that because my brain is not allowing me to do that. So I know that I can't. I could do the job, but then I have to deal with people. So that doesn't work for me. So I'm self-employed, and I like being on my own. I spend a lot of time on my own. I like my own company. I'm not, I don't need to be surrounded by people. Some people do. I like my own company. I really do like my own company, and to be self-employed because I'm in control of it myself. I don't have to answer to anybody. It's all at my own pace, and yeah. So I've learned a lot when I look back, and I think, why couldn't I cope with that? And why couldn't I do this? And why couldn't I do that? And then you're like, well, yeah, maybe that is the reason why. So you're sort of answering your own questions when you're looking back at what you struggled with, and
magnifying glass.
Yeah, and I struggled a lot, you know, in work situations, whatever, you know, and I also, well, I keep going from job to job, you know, why can't I cope? You know, I'll just go from one job to another, you know, because if the pressure's too much, then I'll just walk out the door. And, but yeah, when I look at it, I think, well, maybe the reason I couldn't cope was because I had to be around all these people, and I couldn't be around all. Hello, George. I couldn't be around all these people because I couldn't cope with all these people at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really strange when you start looking back on certain scenarios and you think, okay, so I couldn't pay attention in class. I know there's a lot of daydreamers and stuff, but this was constant. And the noise. Nice to see you, George.
Yes.
And the noise. It was just. I just couldn't. And then yeah, so I'd get up and walk out of class because I just couldn't handle that. There was too much pressure, you know. And when you're in a secondary school, whatever, there's like nearly 1,000 pupils there, you know. Do you know George at all? Are you with George? Did you follow in George Collier?
Actually, I don't know him actually.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, so when we do look back on these things, and it's kind of like, do you know what? That answers so much for me. So much. So for me to get a diagnosis is kind of like, would be a huge relief because it's given me them answers that I've been searching for years as to why I struggle with certain things, you know.
I have my story of diagnosis. So, you know, I was going through a lot in high school. I was diagnosed late, so I was 17. And when I was diagnosed, I was in denial at first because I could not believe it. So I said, you know what? Because of my way of approaching things objectively and asking questions, let me learn about this one. And I was lucky to find that Dr. Tony Atwood was able to come to New York City and do a whole day. I think it was a whole day, I think, of talking about Asperger's syndrome. And when I was at that seminar with my mom, and again, this was just maybe a month later after my diagnosis, all I heard from the information that he was giving out was like, "That's me." Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It was so that's I don't, when you get your assessment, that's kind of, yeah, I mean, yours is going to be different because you're more informed. I wasn't informed.
No.
So but I got the information. It's like, oh, it makes a lot of sense now. And because it makes a lot of sense, I was able to, and with that knowledge in mind, I was able to empower myself and take control. And because of that, I got my doctorate. And of course, there's a support system. I still got therapy every week and all that stuff. I had what they call student support services. So that's for accommodations for those with disabilities. And just after working hard and being consistent and having a very firm support system, I was able to graduate with a doctorate, and I was able to pass my boards in one shot that same year. And I was able to work in a career that I love. So, and that's what I want to see with everybody. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you know, a career like mine. It could be something that they want to achieve. If there's something they want to achieve, you know, I want to say that, you know, I'm confident that you can do it. That because I know it's possible, right? We don't know how long it will take. I mean, that's always a question, but the resolve, I think, is real. And you know, that's how I learned. All the things have to just come in together and align themselves, and they don't align themselves but just by themselves. You have to really put in your parts as well. So that's what, and I hope to, motivate, and I hope for others who are motivated to motivate even more people, so we can all lift and be well off for ourselves, not just for both of us, but for everybody, whether they have the diagnosis or not.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing nicer than lifting people up, is there? And supporting
Together,
supporting one another, on this journey, because it's a very big journey to be on. It's a very big journey to be on.
It's just actually, well, to be honest with you, I just see it as a book. With your book is in your entire life, and you have chapters. So one journey could be one chapter, and then when you finish a journey or an accomplishment, start another one.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's about looking at it in a different way, but people can't just look in a different way willy-nilly like that. That's why, again, there needs to be a support system, because you can't know everything. That's why you have people in your network who could tell you their experiences, you said, and it may not work, or it can go a different way where you just tweak a few things and then it could work, and you just pivot here and there, and it's again, it's not going to happen overnight. So when you do all these little pivoting and all that over time, you get to have better coping skills. Again, it's like you get to know more about yourself and all that. There's always improvement going on, and even if there's a day when you don't feel like there's improvement, the only improvement is you made it through the day. Just
yeah.
through the day.
Yeah.
And then when a new day starts, I always try to start with gratitude, because in my opinion, gratitude is the best attitude. Well, one of the best.
I like that. Gratitude is attitude. Is the best attitude. Yes.
Especially when the sun rises. When the sun rises, it's like,
I love a sunrise. I love a sunrise.
Yeah.
And I like a sunset.
Yes.
I do. And glittering across the sea there. It's just sorry, I did take some photos on my holiday. You've got the sunset glistening on the sea. It's beautiful.
Yes. So it's not about it's the day is over. Oh man, what did I do? Because if you keep thinking like that, you'll be stuck in that cycle.
Yeah. But isn't it beautiful? Don't you think I mean, I could watch that all the time.
Yeah.
Like the sunset, it's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
How it just 1 minute it's there and then it's gone. And so quick. It's so quick. And it's just like, it's so beautiful though, isn't it? It's just so beautiful. I don't think there's anything more beautiful than like a sunrise or a sunset. I just find that really just so calming and it's just so peaceful. It really is. It really is. And also I went to, I can't remember what they call it there, but it's like a waterfall. This waterfall that, and it was just so lovely to listen. The sound of it is incredible. It's just I don't know, and I could watch that for hours. A waterfall, it's just so clever, isn't it? How it just yeah.
I like.
So I'm just going into my own little world now. I just love it.
Streams, the streams.
Yeah.
The sound. That's the sound that I actually prefer. Yeah. Even though waterfalls are good, almost like a few levels above the sound stream. But yeah, sometimes. Oh yeah, my brain gets a little crazy too. Sometimes if I overthink, I'll have like freaking math formulas all over the place when I see shapes.
Yeah.
So
be careful. Yeah.
Don't be like me.
In the clouds, just in the clouds, and it's like, I can see this. I can see that.
Just see it for what it is.
Look at that dog. Okay. Up there. What's that dog doing up there?
Don't think about 2 pi r. Don't think about pi r squared.
But I just love. I and I always have, like sunsets, and I like the stars as well and the moon, you know. But just that, it's just that peace. It's just that peacefulness, you know, and it is very, very peaceful, very peaceful. Yeah.
That's why I go on hikes sometimes. I go on hikes and I go in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, that I mean, yeah, I could them sort of things I could just listen to or watch all the time because I just find it soothing. That's what it is. Yeah. Soothing. I like that word. Yeah, it's very soothing. Yeah, yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
Watch it on YouTube. That's not how it doesn't do justice. You have to be in it.
Yeah, yeah, but it is. Yeah, it's amazing, amazing. Yeah, I could just sit there and watch the sunset all night. But unfortunately, it won't stay there, will it? It'll be gone. While Golden, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I know that you said to me before that you was going to come on, and then I think that was before Christmas, wasn't it?
That was That was weeks ago, and then I had something.
Yeah,
something on the signal.
But please come back on again because it's. I'll save this to the page.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely lovely to meet you at last because
nice
I know last time I said, "Is it Wild Golden?" And you went, "It's Wild Gold Dean or something." I was like, "Okay."
I'm Dean. My real name is Dean.
Okay.
Keep that short.
Sorry.
Keep it short. My name is Dean. Some people call me Dr. Dean, but Dean is fine.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, it's been absolutely lovely to talk to you. I must get something to eat because, you know, I mean, I come on here at 7.
Yes, I have.
At 7, and I couldn't get the guy on. I don't know why. I don't know why he couldn't come on because it was obviously scheduled to come on today. But it just kept going round and round and round in circles, and I thought everybody else has managed to come on, so it must be his internet connection, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, but hopefully he'll be on tomorrow night. But at least I got the chance to meet you.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. So that was lovely.
I look forward to more lives and more interactions.
Yes. Let's do more because it's great. It's really great to meet new, people that have been on the page for a long time, and I haven't actually interacted with them. So when people do come on, it's like fab. At last we get to meet. But yeah, it has been lovely though. But yes, please, feel free to message me or whatever, and we can arrange, to come on again and stuff, and be really interested. It'd be really nice to have you come back on and tell us some more strategies, etc.
Yes. More strategies, more information, knowledge, more improvement, more motivation, more optimism. We need a lot of that.
Exactly, and it can only do good, can't it? So,
right.
It's if we can help each other, then that's the main thing, isn't it? So, because it's a tough journey. So, whether you're diagnosed or not, or you're waiting, it's still a tough journey, and we just need to support one another. So,
I've been waiting for this assessment. It's been a while.
Yeah. Yes. Well, apparently here the autism one is 1 to 3 years, and the ADHD one is 3 to 5.
Wait,
yeah.
But I got diagnosed within the same year.
Yeah. No, it's different here, and the waiting list is huge here, and there's more and more people being sent for the assessment now. Now it's being more recognised. Autism ADHD in adults.
Yes.
The waiting list is is becoming quite big. So yes, 1 to 3 years, one of them, and 3 to 5 for the other. So, but I was told that from when they received my papers, it should be within a year. So fingers crossed, it will be within a year and not up to 3 years. Right, it's 1 to 3 years. This is for the autism one. Yeah, so hopefully. Yeah.
We're here for you. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's probably worse for kids, isn't it? Kids that are waiting.
I don't have kids.
On the waiting list. And their parents are like obviously concerned as to why the child is behaving a certain way. And they're not getting any help because they've got to again wait for the assessment or whatever. Very frustrating, for a lot of people, but not a lot you can do unless you go private, and then that's not everybody can afford to go private either. So it's a lot of money.
But yeah, you got yes. In the United States, it's all capitalism. Your healthcare system is universal. We don't have that, so.
No, it's completely different in America, isn't it? So
it is. It's like very profit driven. Of course, there's insurance, but it's like it's all over the place. You can't memorize anything because everything changes every so often.
Yeah, be nice if it was all just the same, wouldn't it? With it,
I agree.
Like we have the NHS.
Reality.
It'd be nice if everybody was just the same, wouldn't it? And we all got the help that we needed, but unfortunately, it's
not waiting for 3 to 5 years, 1 year, 2 years, but within weeks, because the sooner you get that information, the sooner you can actually take care of the situation. People understand that.
Yeah, it's that's how it is. So here, between 1 and 5 years. So crazy, but what can you do? There's nothing you can do apart from wait. So touch wood. I will get my assessment soon.
Feel better,
but in the meantime, I will just keep learning my strategies and keep away from any kind of toxicity, and just got to look after yourself, haven't you?
Take good care of yourself. Very important.
Exactly.
You're safe.
Yeah. Hello, Mochi. They were live with me not long ago, but I can't talk anymore because I've actually got a sore throat because I come back with this cough and cold. I can't talk anymore, but
fluids.
Yeah.
Water.
I will go
from a pharmacist.
live with you soon, Mochi. I can't remember what they asked me to call them now, but
drink a lot of water. Get your cough drops in.
Yeah.
Hello. I don't know
Hello.
how the medicine go in the UK, but get mucolytics. Like we have Mucinex, we have that one, or guaifenesin, to get all that yucky stuff out. Drink a lot of fluids, vitamin C.
Yeah.
I have teas and I put honey and lemon juice on it.
Yeah.
All right. Rest your throat and take it easy.
Yeah. But it was lovely to meet you, Dean. And
you too.
At last. And we'll come back in a while.
We'll see.
And and then
you take vodka for a sore throat.
I don't drink. So I'd be in trouble then, wouldn't I? Bloody hell. I'd be on the floor. God.
I don't recommend it.
No, someone said to me it might be the plane, the air conditioning on the plane. So, because I didn't have it going out, and I didn't have it sort of when I got back straight away. But it's like on a plane. It's you know, got these air things going off, and sitting quite close to somebody as well. And yeah, next time I'll sit on the wing of the plane and not inside the plane. I think that's the best option, really. But yeah, it's just, it really works. So it burns a second. Then yes, but no good if you don't drink, is it?
Yes. So
trying to get me drunk now. Trying to get me drunk. God's sake. I don't drink. I used to, but I don't anymore. But yeah, so I must go because otherwise I won't be able to talk at all. But I'll say this to the page and see you later, Mochi. And thank you so much, Dean. And we'll talk soon.
Georgina.
You take care. You take care. All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.